Hello, my name is Diana Ramirez, and I did my research paper over Trifles by Susan Glassbell. So, the main idea that Susan Glassbell wanted to get across was that women shouldn't be viewed as trifles, rather, they should be viewed as equals. So, women have been oppressed for centuries, and Glassbell wanted to display that through her writing. Glassbell was inspired to write Trifles along with a short story called A Jury of Her Peers, based on what she experienced as a courtroom reporter during a murder trial. So she ended up covering the arrest and trial of Margaret Hosick, who was accused of murdering her husband. Many people sympathized with her, seeing her as a victim in an abusive relationship, while others doubted her claims of abuse. And in the play, this happens exactly with Mrs. Wright, also known as Minnie, and Mr. Wright, her husband. So at first, the play insinuates that Miss Wright murdered her husband and that she should go to jail and face the consequences for her actions. Yet, the more the play is acted out, the audience empathizes with Mrs. Wright, and they're now able to see why she did what she did. And by empathizing with Mrs. Wright, it shows another type of justice, which would be moral justice, which is what Miss Hale and Miss Peters saw, which is why they ended up hiding the evidence to set Minnie free. So, at first, people weren't very fond of Susan Glassbell's work because she came off as being too much of a feminist and being too daring in the late 20th century. However, in the 21st century, scholars rediscovered female writers, which is when her work was brought back to life. I ended up talking about 4 literary devices. I included the theme, the plot, symbolism, and irony because they all play such a huge role in this play. The plot is what makes the theme because it essentially sets a timeline up for the audience so it doesn't look like random scenes were just put together. She ended up also using situational and dramatic irony in this, which is vital to make this play stand out from the others. The men were searching for evidence while Miss Hale and Miss Peters were worried about trifling things like Minnie's preserves. But the insignificant things they were worried about were the answer to the motive as to why Mr. Wright was murdered. The worrying led them to discovering the birdcage with the broken door handle and the dead canary. The women were taken for granted, and they were made fun of because they were worried for Minnie's preserves. And Glassbell just wants to prove that women are just as clever as men are, and that they are capable of doing what men are able to do. I also included symbolism, like the bird is basically a representation of a youthful Minnie before she was married. Whenever her husband killed the bird, he ended up killing Minnie's only source of happiness. And by him killing the bird, it just killed everything inside of her, and she had nothing left because she was so isolated and she was so used to being alone because she had no children, she had no friends, she had no pets, like nothing. The only thing she had for her to keep going was the bird, and he took that away from her. And along with the dead bird came her great spirit. I would definitely recommend this play. That's probably one of my that's on my bucket list now. I'm definitely gonna go watch a play because this is just so interesting. And also, by having a good plot, it captures the audience's attention, because who would expect a calm woman just stating that her husband's dead upstairs? Anyways, thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I'm, willing to help you. So, yeah, thank you.